Ni hao, and welcome to the Trying to Be Grown podcast. I am your host, Damani Carter. Over there, with no stripes on his shirt, is my esteemed co-host, Mr. Byron Keaton. Byron, how we doing today?
Another day, another dollar. Dollar make a holler. You know, we ain't no holler back, girl.
That was way worse than what I said. Wherever you rocking with us, we appreciate you rocking with us. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you at, we appreciate you. Byron, are you worried about the Twix situation?
The what?
Kanye has mentioned it twice. Like he says the Twix are getting bigger. Right? He said it once in that long 10-minute rant when he kicked old girl out the room and everybody was looking at him. And then he just said it again the other day. Like he keeps sprinkling it in the conversation. Like he's just like, they're making the Twix bigger. They're trying to make us fat. And I was eating the Twix the other day and I got to thinking about it. Are you worried about the Twix situation?
No, I don't eat Twix. Who eats Twix?
You don't eat Twix? Twix are fire. Twix are that's a very good candy. Elite candy.
There's only two candies with chocolate in them that I will eat. Kit Kats and Reese's. Other than that, disgusting.
Both also elite candies. But yeah, man, I was eating it the other day and I was saying, like, maybe, does he know something that I don't?
No.
Like, he just and of course, he done said a lot of crazy things, but I'm just, it's enough to make you think, you know? Is there something going on behind closed doors that I need to be worried about in the Twix factory?
But why is it a bad thing if they're getting bigger?
I don't know.
Shouldn't we be happy about that?
It just seems like, you know, if he dropping in the conversation, maybe he got like the inside scoop on something like maybe that's the mind control device. I don't know. I just thought about it as I was eating the Twix the other day. But I finished the Twix, but I was like, I don't know. Huh?
How many did you have?
Oh, it was the mini, so it was a bunch. It was a whole bunch.
How many?
I don't know. A bag's worth over the course of 2 days.
Hey, bro. You need to cut back.
I like candy. I do. I like candy. I'm about to go eat some cookie dough after we get off of this. No. I bought cookie dough knowing I did not have a baking sheet. I don't have no kind of cooking materials that would allow me to make cookies, but I'm going to eat the dough, all of it.
Go ahead and get salmonella, man.
No, my stomach's too strong to get salmonella. I'm cool.
That's crazy.
Anyways, just to give a quick rundown of how this is gonna go, Byron, I got a question for you to start off the show. Then we'll get into just the Super Bowl stuff. Obviously, you know, that was quite the interesting situation there. And then we're going to end the show talking about Byron's request. I had the idea, but Byron is making me talk about it because I didn't want to talk about it, but Byron is saying that we have to talk about it, and it's just the relationship pet intersection. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Everything will be time stamped in the description. You got something you want to see, something you don't want to see, you can skip to it or through it. So Byron, I took this idea from it's the two British dudes, and they've got a podcast that's called, you know, and Giggles. Like it's the thing that comes before and Giggles. It's the S word.
What comes
it's
before?
and Giggles. Huh?
What comes before it?
You know, you'll figure it out. If you just search and Giggles podcast, the word will come up. So I got a hypothetical for you, and this is 100% from them. I'm borrowing the idea.
Still.
So borrowing.
How are you going to give it back to them?
I just gave him credit.
But how are you going to give the idea back to them?
I can't give it back to him, but I'm just
so
that's why I'm. So no, they used it first, so I'm borrowing. Can I get to the question, please?
Can you just correct what you said because you didn't borrow anything?
If somebody broke in your house while you were taking the Browns to the Super Bowl, would you wipe before you went to fight?
What?
If somebody broke in your house, right? So imagine nature start calling and you gotta go get rid of something, right? So you sitting on the toilet, get it out. would you wipe before you went and addressed the intruder situation? Now, if you ain't gonna go account for your situation, physically, then that's fine. But would you wipe before you did whatever was your next step?
My first thing I gotta say is, we're done letting you have free range on this podcast.
What? I thought it was a good question, bro.
I will never in my life.
I thought it was a good question.
I will never in my life allow you to have whatever you want to call it, a topic of question that doesn't get screened first.
I thought this was a good question.
Hey, man. And the answer is, hey man, I'm a clean person. I'm all about hygiene. So of course I will wipe. And two, the other thing, I might not go out. I might just stay in the bathroom.
They start beating on the door.
I'm like, in a minute.
Me in a minute. Oh, come on, bro. They're gonna come in there and kill you, bro. So all right? They are coming in, and you can see like the cracks starting to show, like the door starting to splinter. They done hit it 2 or 3 times. What you gonna do?
I'll just wipe, stand up. Dang, man, you got me.
You're gonna wipe first. If they're banging down the door,
Yeah.
You're going to wipe first.
Yeah. Why would I not?
I would just you got maximum time to effectively defend yourself. If you just pull your pants up and then go.
I'm good, man.
Nah, man.
I'm good, man.
I'll tell you this.
So you're gonna be like that one dude in the mall.
No. When they find me though, if the intruders win, it's gonna be some. Hey, that autopsy is not gonna be fun. I feel sorry for the coroner, cause that soon as I get the disturbance, time to go.
So okay, my only concern is what if it's just some other type of disturbance in your home?
Well then, shoot,
wait. It's a false alarm and you do that.
I'm gonna figure it out after. I gotta address.
See how that's a problem?
I gotta address my livelihood first, Byron. I gotta be able to live to tell about it before I worry about what's going on in the back door.
See, that's the problem with you and other Americans, man. Y'all don't want to just go on your own time, man. When it's your time to go, you gotta go.
Nah,
you don't
bro.
have no control over that. You don't have control over that, man.
You're gonna have to whoop me, just put the bullets in me with the dingleberries and all. It ain't gonna be no like straight path just because, I wanted to take an extra second to address what was going on back there. Nah. Survival mode. Laws of nature. The jungle, all that. It's just going back to my primal roots.
Okay. How long would you last in nature?
In nature?
You can last? Yeah.
I think I'd be okay.
For how long? Forever?
It depends on like what kind of nature you're talking about. Is it like, a situation where it's really like hard nature, or are you talking about just general, just nature?
What do you mean by hard nature and just general?
I'm saying, do you drop me in the middle of the Arctic tundra surrounded by polar bears? Am I in the middle of a really, really tough situation, or do you just take me to the woods somewhere and see if I can survive?
You gotta live in the woods.
I could probably do that. Not comfortably, but I could do it.
Like you can't never go back to regular technology. You gotta kill animals with your hands. You gotta do all that.
I could just fish, and that fishing is not hard.
Okay. So how long do you think you will last?
Forever.
That's cool.
That's it. It just depends on like what kind of animals is out there. Is there anything that's gonna want to kill me? How long do I have to build a dwelling? Like, do I have to sleep outside while it's cold? All that stuff. But no, I could survive. Be cool.
I got about 3 days, max.
Yeah, because you're not a nature guy at all. You're not a nature guy.
I got about
Never
3 days.
have been though. I'll give you that consistency. But you're from a very like country section of the state, and it's interesting to me that you don't have any kind of outdoorsy bones in your body. None of them.
Because one is dirty. Yeah, that's really it, man. Don't like
It's
bugs.
natural. It's natural.
Natural is dirty.
I don't. I think that kind of depends on how you look at it. But you got an inside job though, so that's good for all parties, for everybody involved. That's a good thing.
How long would you last in prison?
Until
Okay,
somebody,
do you think it's tougher to be in prison or live in nature?
um, tougher psychologically, probably prison, but tougher like in terms of
Overall for you.
fending for yourself is probably nature. So I mean, I'd probably say for me, prison would be tougher.
This may be wrong to say. Actually, I'm not. No, I'll say it. This may be wrong to say. But to me, prison seems like a good time. Kind of.
What?
Think about it. You really have no obligations. Well, you do have obligations. You got to do a little bit of the little cleaning up around the place, that type of work.
Mm-hmm.
No bills. Play basketball every day. Lift weights. Watch TV. That don't sound bad to me.
Do you think like your living situation is real comfortable?
No, but you get the hoop.
You get okay. Well, think about it this way, bro. Uncomfortable living situation, same rotation of meals, all provided by people that don't really care about what you're
I do the
eating.
same. I do the same thing with my meals. I eat the same probably 4 things over and
But you
over,
get to
three
choose
things.
them. Is what I'm saying. Is somebody else choosing what you eat, especially for a picky eater such as yourself, would be a bad situation. And that's speaking as a picky eater. I'm not attacking you for being a picky eater,
Bro, I'm not a picky
but
eater.
huh?
I've, I've grown. I've grown.
You
But
eat
continue.
onions?
I can.
Do
I
you eat
made cabbage.
onions?
Yeah, I made cabbage 2 weeks ago and put onions in it.
I don't believe you.
How much you want to
I
bet?
just, I just don't. I don't believe you, and that's.
Why?
I'll just leave it at that. You can have your perspective. I don't believe that, but you're a picky eater, so I would think that would also be bad for you. Um, no women, so that be
Yeah,
kind of
that's the tough part.
that's the tough part.
I think so.
You see the same people every day. Like it's just a bad.
It's just
It's a
like school.
very It's a psychological. No, in school you get to go home. You have vacations from school. It's very very different from school.
I don't think I would last in prison, but I think I can see prison being kind of fun at times.
Okay, that's very strange to say,
I don't want to
because
go
I don't see
clearly.
it that way at all. I do not see it that way at all.
As long as nobody trying to fight you, but I think you just kind of stay cool with everybody, you'll be all right. But I don't know the ins and outs of prison.
You you're smooth faced, so you might be okay. Might be holding somebody's pocket, but you'd be okay.
I'm tough. They like, oh, we know not to mess with him. Doing his
No,
pull-ups 24/7. Only thing I know.
no, nobody care about pull ups.
Back of a gorilla.
All right, you're gonna do 100 pull ups and get knocked out, and just be having to pull yourself up off the ground, and that's
Nah, bro. So back to your question. Sorry, I got sidetracked. So your fight or flight mode is gonna say clean up first, and then no, your fight or flight mode is gonna
it's
say
gonna
go
say
in and get
fight.
straight to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, man, I believe in hygiene first.
Byron, that's nuts, man. I get the hygiene part of it, but it's at a certain point I got to be able to put that on the back burner. No pun intended, but I got to figure this situation out before I figure out what's going on back there.
No, man. I disagree.
Okay, and that's fine. Um, now going to the now that we got that out of the way, Super Bowl. Um, I went. Curtis,
Hell, talk about it. Not everybody
don't
gets
do
to see a Super Bowl, bro.
don't do that
Not
no more,
everybody
bro.
gets to see a Super Bowl, bro.
Don't do that no more.
I feel like if
Please
you
don't do that
ask
no more.
1 in 100 people, if you ask 100 people, I say maybe 2 people have seen a Super Bowl. Do I know those statistics are true? No, but I feel like 2 is the highest number it can be.
Yeah, it's a very, very novel experience. Shout out to Dre. 'Cause, I mean, he got the ticket for me. So that was cool.
Shouts out to
Uh,
Dre.
mhm. Yeah, he got surgery the other day. He cool. He's in the recovery phase. He just like I told y'all, he just mad because he bought a house with a basketball court on it. And he's not even gonna be able to use it. Um, yeah, saw a lot of famous faces. So this is how stupid I am. You remember Taylor Lautner from Twilight?
Sure.
So yeah, one of our friends Daniela, who's Brandon Allen's little sister, she was sitting in front of me and she turned around and was just like, "You're by Taylor Lautner," and I was like, "Oh," I figured I'd walk by him or something because he wasn't sitting like next to me, but I turned around like in the third quarter and I was like, "Oh, that's Taylor Lautner over there." So we were sitting in like the player section. So it was close to the field, like on the 49ers end zone, great view. Um, yeah, it was really cool. It was a really cool experience. I Draymond, DeMarcus Cousins. Really, I think I offended French Montana, and I felt bad about it
I think we
afterwards.
got to hear. Go yeah, let's go ahead. Let's hear that story.
I was trying to
People
take a
need to know.
I was trying to take a video of the stadium. Like I'm looking at Allegiant Stadium, right? Like it's right as I walk in, and I see Mark Phillips, and I'm like, oh, there go Mark Phillips, but I don't see French Montana, right? So I'm taking a video of the stadium. And I think he thought I was like trying to take a video of him, which is crazy because I wasn't being slick about it or nothing. I think he thought I was just like super fan. So he, trying to bless the video a little bit, he just like he poke his head out and just kind of wave. And I keep avoiding trying to take a video at the stadium, and then I'm just like, oh man. Now I looked over and I was like, oh, that's French Montana. Whoops. See, I felt bad. So my apologies, Mr. Montana, wherever you at. Um,
See, bro, you could have been kicking it with French that night.
I doubt it. I doubt anybody that, just walks up and starts videoing him ends up in that spot. Yeah, man, wish the game turned out differently. Obviously, my dog got hurt. Um, Ended up missing the halftime show, but like a super novel Super Bowl experience. I, not got to, but kind of had to go down to the locker room with his son and his BM just to see kind of how he was doing. He was doing okay. He ended up back on the field and stuff. So yeah, man. Overall, very very cool experience. And that's the other famous thing. Oh well, E40 was with us in the tunnel, so that was cool. Um, and Usher's ex-wife was with us on the elevator. As soon as like we got done talking to him in the locker room, we're going back up to our seats. So yeah, it's cool.
Okay, I have multiple questions, but I think I have to start with the last thing you said. How do you
Mhm.
know who Usher's wife is?
She told us that her ex-husband was the one that was performing. Like she got on the elevator and we were
Okay.
riding up. It's a big stadium, so we had time to just discuss. She said, "How did y'all enjoy the show?" We said we didn't see the show. We were in the locker room with Dre. He just tore his Achilles. She was like, "Oh, it was good." My ex-husband, whatever she said, but she was like, "Oh,
See, that's why I don't like when people do it. She just wanted to say that. I don't like that. She
I
wanted to
mean,
let you know who
shoot."
she was. She wanted you to ask her for an
And
autograph or something. I don't like that, bro. If
I
people
don't
don't
know
know
who
you,
she.
If people don't know you, people don't know you. Don't be trying to say, "Oh, I'm so and so." Don't do that. People gotta stop that, man.
They ain't got nothing to do with me. She was nice. She was a very nice lady. Seemed
Seeking
age
attention.
appropriate for Usher. But I mean, she said ex-husband. So I mean, at least she was honest about the status of their marriage.
Yeah,
I
because he
don't even
got
know.
married the
She
next
could have
day.
been. She could have been lying for all I know. I didn't even look up what Usher's ex-wife looks like, which I could do right now, but I'm not going to.
Another question: did you talk to any other celebrities, or did you just look at them?
Talk to? No, not really. Um,
Did any of them talk to you? Like, oh, that's Damani Carter right there.
no, if you don't count like members of the 49ers team and staff as famous people, but they was just kind of like waving at me. Because obviously Dre was the main focus, but that was about it.
Mm. Dang, man, that's tough. That's tough.
Now, getting to this is the real reason I wanted to bring this up. How did you feel about the game that Brock Purdy played?
I feel like he had a very unmemorable game.
Okay,
Like
you
I
go.
don't feel.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you get all the way through it before I make my comment. I want you to
All
get
right,
it
thank you,
all
thank you,
out.
thank you, thank you. I feel like he made like one or two good passes, I would say, but for the most part, I feel like he did something a lot of people could do. The 49ers got up because of Christian McCaffrey. They had a whole not Christian McCaffrey and whatever that tall receiver is. They had the touchdown pass and scored another touchdown late. Um, I just think he just had all pro people around him making all pro plays.
Hmm.
That's how I feel.
Okay. Um, have you heard what the Chiefs defensive coordinator had to say about Brock Purdy?
Nope, sure haven't.
He said that everything that the Chiefs, who are a very, very good defense, very, very good defense, threw at Purdy, he had not only a good answer for, but an answer that caused them to adjust what they were doing on the defensive side just because he was beating everything that they were throwing at him.
By throwing the ball 10 yards.
No, not about throwing the ball
So
10 yards.
so come
Do you remember the first drive of the game?
what happened the first drive?
They get inside, at least inside the 20. I'm not sure if they were inside the 10, and McCaffrey
Oh yeah,
fumbles.
they walked him
Mm-hmm.
down the field.
Mm-hmm.
But
So,
didn't McCaffrey? Wait. On that possession, didn't McCaffrey have like a 20-yard run or catch? Where
mm,
it was some. It really wasn't anything he was doing. It was just like some very basic plays that were getting big yards, which I would give more credit to Kyle Shanahan than Brock Purdy in that situation.
you can give credit to him on the naked. They got like Juszczyk got open on where he hurdled the guy and got the first down. But the throw I'm thinking about to McCaffrey, on time, very good route, but a very good throw. There was the deep
What route
over
was it?
that he threw. The one to
What?
McCaffrey,
Yeah.
it was either an in or a just some kind of angle because he got open over the middle and ran for a little while.
How many balls did he throw over 25 yards?
Over 25? How many did Mahomes
Yep.
throw over 25?
He's not the top. He's not the topic of discussion right now. We're talking about Brock Purdy.
I'm wondering why that's your criteria. I'm wondering what you want to get to with this
Because
answer.
all I'm saying he's just a dink and dunker. Anybody can be a dink and dunker, and that's why I don't like Brock Purdy. That's what makes him a game manager rather than a game changer. He just How many? He threw like 20 quicks. That may be an exaggeration, but he threw a whole bunch of little quicks to the flats immediately,
Okay.
like where the receiver just catch it, Ayuk or Debo just take off. He threw a lot of them.
Debo had 2 catches for like 11 yards. Trent McDuffie had Debo in handcuffs all night, and
Yeah,
I have to give a big shout out to Trent. Trent McDuffie might have become my favorite cornerback in football because he is amazing. He is very good. against the run. He is astounding in man coverage.
Yep.
But just look at Purdy's timing. That's the main thing. Like if you're talking about getting through a progression and putting the ball where it needs to be when it needs to be there, phenomenal. So coming from the defensive coordinator, the guy that is at least a top 5 defense in the league statistically, and from a talent standpoint, performance standpoint, you could argue they're the best. And I probably would make that argument just based on what they put out there over the course of the last 10 weeks. Their plan of attack for him, he countered it the best way that you possibly could. And if it weren't for like the blown protection where Chris Jones comes free and ends up hitting him before he can get the ball to Ayuk in the end zone, they probably score on that last drive.
What about his overthrown balls?
That's what I'm talking about.
No, he had like 3 or 4. He had like 3 or 4 where he did not throw a good ball.
Overthrown.
Also, why are we giving?
How many of those was he pressured on?
Wait, why are we giving all this? Okay, you talk about all these different decisions that he made. He has to be able to pick that up with his coverage. If you want to give him credit for the adjustments that they made to beat the Chiefs defense instead of giving it to Kyle Shanahan, why is he not taking any of the blame for the coverage or the protection based on missing blitzes?
Let me ask you something.
You got to know that's coming high as a quarterback, right or wrong.
Not if somebody doesn't block who they're supposed to block.
Who's in charge of the protection? The quarterback and center.
Okay, so if the protection calls for 3 of us to go this way, right?
He didn't change the protection. No,
excuse me. And for 2 of us to be man on the backside. Like if that's the huddle call, like that's what we're supposed to do coming out of the huddle. And the guard just doesn't do it. Why didn't he
then
you blame the quarterback for that? I don't know why he didn't do it. But I know the protection.
How do you know that's a protection?
Because I know protections, Byron. I coach football. I know what the protection is.
I don't think you know that what their protection was.
Okay, so you think hold on. So you think put it to you this way, right?
They thought somebody else was coming.
No, you as a corner, right? Mm-hmm. If you watch 3 people play man, right? So let's just say let's say we're dealing with cover 1, right? You see the corner on the backside play man. You see the safety roll down and take number 3. You see the nickel take number 2, and the corner sits in the flat and plays the flat. Number 1 runs by him, and they score a touchdown. Do you know that corner messed up?
Nope, I don't.
So you think the coach called it like that?
Could have.
Okay.
I've seen that for sure. Before.
You've seen a coach call cover 1 with a corner sitting in the flat and nobody to take the top off of the number 1 receiver. You've seen that? When?
Saw it in college. We did in Mizzou.
You did
I
it?
think it was my redshirt freshman year. Go watch
You did it against Mizzou?
Not me. Rob
Smith
called it.
You telling me Rob Smith told the corner, "Hey, don't cover this guy if he goes past 10. We want you to sit right here in this flat."
Correct.
So
they hit us with a lot of little dinks, so they switched it up.
They switched it up to that. Okay.
I don't know what they called it. But also, Damani.
You know what your brother said about you the other day?
No. Wait. Why do we
I'm coming back to that, but go ahead.
Sure. Why do we give so much credit for adjustments made and the execution of the team to Brock Purdy rather than the offensive coordinator or the play caller?
You can give credit to both. I don't think that it's not.
You haven't said a single thing about Kyle Shanahan this whole entire time. You've been talking about, Brock Purdy had an answer for everything. Why not?
Because you've never criticized Kyle Shanahan. You're criticizing Brock Purdy. That's why I asked you the question. How did I start this segment off? What did I ask you?
I don't think that's fair. Bro.
Okay. How much credit do you give Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy for Mahomes' success?
I give them a lot. I give them a lot.
Okay, but you're fine praising Mahomes, yes?
I don't not praise Mahomes. I think he's a great
Okay.
quarterback.
Why can't you just answer the question, lawyer boy? Can we just say that Mahomes is a really really good football player, really really
Yeah.
good quarterback? But you have a problem
No,
saying
he's not a
anything
good football.
positive.
Not a good football player. He's a good quarterback. That's a whole different story. But continue.
I don't want to hear any of that story. So why do you have so much problem saying that Brock Purdy played well? Because he did. He played very very well.
He played very average to me. I feel like a lot of people could have done what he did.
You're not okay.
That's all I'm saying. He didn't play amazing. He played very Brock Purdy-esque. That looked like a typical Brock Purdy game, in my opinion. I never was amazed by anything.
Okay. But it requires you to be amazed for him to be a great quarterback? Is that what it
Yep,
is?
exactly.
For him to be a good quarterback, does it require you to be amazed?
You gotta do something. You gotta give me some wows. Like, oh man, that was a really good throw. I don't feel that way. His one good throw is when it was like a deep out. I feel like I made a throw like that in my high school days.
You were throwing deep outs in high school?
I was. Cross the hash.
Okay. So
Check the tape.
if I go down to Conway and I ask Coach James about you throwing a deep out to the opposite hash,
Just watch my highlight film, man. You ain't gotta ask him. Watch the highlight film. Let the video speak for itself.
it just this is why I brought it up. This is why I brought up what Brandon said the other day. And I'm not gonna tell everybody the context from which it came up because I just remembered. But you just be talking, bro. Like that's part of the thing that you got to understand about having a conversation with Byron Keaton is that you just talk. So sometimes I'm just like
I believe what I say.
that's outrageous. But you don't even believe it. Like you don't care. You don't care what
I
you
believe
say.
exactly what I say.
No, you don't. But
Everything
that's
I
what I'm
said,
saying.
I believe what I say.
Sometimes I got to remember who I'm talking to, and I'm like, oh, okay, well that's him, you know. So I got that's my fault. I'll be better. I'll be better on that.
I got a
But
question for you, Damani.
sure,
Lamar,
fire
if
away.
Lamar Jackson started that game for the 49ers, do they win? Yes or no? That's all I need.
Everything happens exactly the same way. All the same plays are called. They don't switch. They don't switch up the game plan at all.
Nope.
All the same plays are called because you call the game differently with Lamar back there. I just want to make sure because I'm going to be very very clear
Answer the
about what I'm
question,
saying.
man. Answer the question.
Are all the same
Answer
plays
the
called?
question. Answer the
Is
question,
is the
Damani.
game called differently or no?
I've already answered. Ask and answer, man.
If the game is called the same way,
Go ahead and say it so I can.
you know what? Chris Jones probably. I think Lamar gets out of that sack, so yeah, they win it. But that's why. That's one play. I'm giving him one play, and that's it.
I think you
And
have too much
honestly,
respect for Brock Purdy.
and
You have too much respect
honestly,
for him.
I don't know because some of those times that Purdy made, I'd say a more conservative decision throwing into like man coverage. He threw one that McDuffie should have picked off, but it was just because he was so on top of the dig, like he jumped it perfectly. But that was really the only really bad decision I saw him make. So Lamar might have got one more picked off, honestly. So that's a soft yes, just because I think either one of those plays where the rush was like to the point that Purdy could not throw a good ball. Lamar might have made something happen there, but it's not like a definitive yes by any stretch of the imagination. Purdy played just about as well as you could have asked a quarterback to play, and they lost.
I just can't believe you, man. You talking like he a top 3 quarterback in the league right now.
I don't think he's a top 3 quarterback in the league. I think he's easily top 10 though.
You acting like he top 3, man.
No,
Okay,
you asked.
did Mahomes have a good game?
Hmm.
See, he didn't, bro. He had a very average, basic game.
Byron, who is he throwing to?
What that mean? He got arguably the best tight end ever.
Mm-hmm. That's one target. Now, in terms of his other targets,
Valdez.
he's serviceable. He's not a number 1 receiver. Rashee Rice is a rookie who's not
Hooping.
bad,
Hooping.
but a rookie.
He's out there hooping.
And Hardman hadn't had a good game in.
No, Hardman was playing
like
good
6.
in the playoffs.
No, he wasn't.
He was playing good in the playoffs.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
How many other quarterbacks have had their receiving core lead the league in drops and won the Super Bowl? How many?
0. I don't know.
1. Pat. Their receiving core is not good. Like it's obviously they're NFL football players. Not to say that they're not deserving of being in that role, but he doesn't have good receivers. He has Travis Kelce, who's fantastic, but depending on the defense you're playing, the tight end spot is a little bit easier to bracket.
Okay. I think the better way I shouldn't have asked about this. If you switch Pat Mahomes and Brock Purdy teams, like you just flip them, what is the score to that game?
Do you call the game differently?
Exactly the
because
same. Exact same.
You call it exactly the same? Same deal with Lamar.
But I'm saying the quarterback on the Chiefs is now Brock Purdy. You think the score to that game is the exact same?
No. The one that Mahomes threw in the first half where Tashawn Gibson lost the ball in the lights, that should have got picked. Purdy wouldn't have thrown that ball. It was caught.
So you think the score is the same though?
No, I'm saying the Chiefs wouldn't have won, but you look at.
Is it a close game? I don't think it's a close game.
I do.
You put Brock Purdy with those terrible receivers? No.
Well, if you put Brock Purdy with those terrible receivers, you got to think about like how much, the extent to which Mahomes is a gunslinger. So you're going to get quicker throwaways, like he's going to throw the ball away quicker. This is going to be a little bit less trust. Not as much in terms of creating with his legs. Purdy's a good runner, but I think Mahomes is just for whatever reason, just a very, very crafty runner. That one he got the first down on in overtime was just a play call, but there were a couple of times where he got some extra yardage where I'm not sure Purdy was pulling it down and making that decision. He might just throw the ball away. But it's not just a huge.
They lose by 3 touchdowns.
I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. Highly doubt it.
I can't wait for Brock Purdy to either go to a new team.
Who did Purdy throw the deep out to?
All pro receivers.
Who did Purdy throw the deep out to?
Was it Ayuk or the tall dude? It was one of the two.
No, it wasn't. Not the deep out.
Mm-hmm. Who he throw it to?
One of their receivers that doesn't play a lot. It wasn't Ray McLeod. It wasn't Juwan Jennings. It wasn't Brandon Ayuk, and it wasn't Deebo Samuel.
Dude was wide open.
Yeah, it was a great route, but you got to think about the timing.
So what we talking about then, man? You acting like it wasn't the receiver that did the thing. You acting like he was smothered and he just made a perfect pass to where it was a very contested. No, the receiver was open. He just had to throw it over someone and get it to him. I feel like every quarterback in the NFL should be able to do that.
Okay. And to that, I would say this. So, timing, having, pocket discipline because there was a good rush on that play. Being able to see like in a let's just I'll say there were 4 out. Let's just say they left the back end to be able to get from your out to your vertical and back to that deep out in your flood concept, which is not
I'm not impressed.
necessary.
I'm not
Okay,
impressed, bro. I do it all the time.
you don't have to be impressed, but can you say that that's good quarterback play though? Because it is good quarterback play.
Damani, but that's not what I'm saying. An NFL quarterback should be able to do that. That's all I'm saying. Like, that is a very average thing to be able to do if you're an NFL quarterback. Right or wrong.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
So
I'm not
if
saying
you're
this is just terrible. I'm just saying an average NFL quarterback should be able to go through a basic flood concept. Right or wrong.
okay. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I think if you're looking at 70 plays worth of good quarterback play and you're saying everybody can do that. Now, I mean, if you look at all of them as individuals, sure, maybe. But if you're talking about compiling a body of work over a course of a game against a very, very good defense that involves one, not giving them the ball when they're smothering your receivers, and two, making the right decisions on time on a play to play basis, how do you not give him credit for that? How?
He ain't do nothing, man.
Okay.
Why didn't he score then? Why didn't he score?
Why didn't he score in the end? Because they let the best defensive tackle in football, not named Aaron Donald, run free into his face. That's why.
How many points did they
You
score?
You let 6'6", 315 running 4.7 run directly into your face and tell me what that pass looks like.
I get the ball off perfect.
Okay. Oh my God.
We got every single time he does something wrong, we got an excuse.
Brandon, I keep trying to remember that he just talks, and I gotta let him talk. But that's
every time
Brian, that's crazy.
Up, we got an excuse for it.
It's not an excuse. You can watch the tape. You
got an excuse for Brock Purdy. I don't know what it is. Why we give excuses for Brock Purdy? We don't do it for everybody else. But Brock Purdy, he messed up. Oh, that wasn't his fault. But when something happens with an All-Pro receiver go 50 yards, oh, what a great pass by Brock Purdy.
Byron, we do that for everybody. We do it for everybody.
We don't, man. We don't. My problem with Brock Purdy is the same problem I have with Tua Tagovailoa. They do the same thing where it's just a whole bunch of nothing, and all the people around them really make the plays, but people give the quarterback credit because they're the quarterback. That's why I don't like either of them. They don't do anything. Brock Purdy, you put Tua on the 49ers, nothing changes in that game. Nothing, not a single thing changes.
What did Brady and Peyton Manning do? Just out of curiosity, what did they do?
Very cerebral players, man.
Okay, so Purdy not cerebral is what you're saying?
Not to the extent he had to call a timeout when something didn't look right, where he didn't know how to make the adjustment. Kyle Shanahan said, "You know what? I'm just gonna take over this." They called a timeout. Brady and Manning, they audible. Omaha. We know his.
That never happened.
We know his. We know his audibles. What's Purdy's? I don't know a single Purdy audible.
Have you seen how many times that he's canned receivers to bring them in and make sure that they block the safety when it looks like they're getting a blitz look? There's a bunch of stuff that he does. He makes a bunch of checks, but you just don't want to give him credit for them, and that's fine.
I don't see him. I saw Peyton do it, but I told you what I think about Brady. Brady's just a product of what he was in. Yeah, they the same. Yeah, if you want to compare Brock Purdy to Brady, be my guest. Be my guest. Neither one of them are that good.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and leave this where it is. You heard the defensive coordinator from the other team, like the team that played him in the Super Bowl, talk about how well he played. You've heard a bunch of people talk about how well he played, but you don't care. So I don't know why I'm not going to waste my breath anymore. Brock Purdy is a very, very good NFL quarterback, one whom I have confidence in. And I don't know why this like hate train has become so strong for it, because he don't do nothing. Like, he don't do nothing to nobody.
Exactly. He does nothing. That's why I don't enjoy people giving him credit because he does nothing and he gets credit like he's LeBron James. And that's my
You
problem.
think he gets credit like he's LeBron James?
You tried to name him the MVP this year or before Lamar took over. Yes, so you're putting him in the LeBron James category to where he's the MVP. No, that's not the MVP. That is not the MVP.
Has there ever been a year where the best basketball player has not won MVP because somebody else had better stats?
Say what? I'm thinking. What are you saying?
Has there ever been, just go to the NBA because you said LeBron. Has there ever been a year where the best player playing basketball that year did not win the MVP award because somebody else had better stats than him?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I'm saying Purdy is deserving of the MVP award because of the numbers he's putting up and his team's success, which they were objectively evident, like you could just look them up, then how is that inconsistent with just sensible happenings over the course of just sensible happenings within the NFL and professional sports as a whole? How is that out of whack?
The reason it is out of whack because you were trying to look at it like saying, hey, he had better numbers than this guy. But the problem in this situation is you are saying Brock Purdy deserves the MVP. Brock Purdy deserves the MVP over McCaffrey when McCaffrey is LeBron James, Brock Purdy is Mario Chalmers. And that's what's happening in this situation. Mario Chalmers,
Byron.
yeah, he's setting up LeBron, he's setting up D-Wade, he's setting up Bosh, yeah, that's exactly what's going on. But at the end of the day, he's not the most valuable player on that team. And that is my problem with people giving Brock Purdy credit. They keep trying to make him the MVP when he's Mario Chalmers.
Hey, Byron, do you think that, and I genuinely have to go back to look because I'm not sure. That year that Brady threw 55 touchdowns and Randy Moss caught more touchdowns than he'd ever caught in his career before. If you looked at Brady's play amongst quarterbacks and Randy Moss's play amongst wide receivers, do you think that it's very possible, because neither one of us remember, and don't say you don't because I know you don't, is it possible that Randy Moss outplayed receivers to a greater extent than Brady outplayed quarterbacks?
Yeah, and he deserved MVP.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying, Byron. That's nuts because
But actually,
if that's
he didn't, if I remember correctly.
You don't remember correctly because you didn't watch a single Patriots game, Byron. That's what I'm saying. You just talk. You're just saying things. And I got to remember.
Watch the Patriots that year.
What number did Randy Moss wear for the Patriots?
I want to say 81.
Okay. I'll give you that one. You figured that one out.
Because I had homeboys that was Patriots fans back in the day, so I had to be able to talk trash when I came back to school.
Oh, okay. For sure. No, you didn't watch any of that season. You have no recollection of it, but that's okay.
I do.
Because you just talk. But anyways, I think that your criteria, if that's your criteria, that's fine. But if you look at how the NFL has given the award over the course of the last 15, 20 years, and just effectively saying if you have really, really good numbers at quarterback, which Brock Purdy through 12 games did have at quarterback, we will give you the award over somebody who might be a superior player who is running the ball or catching the ball. Now, if Tyreek Hill continued on the tear that he was on, then it would have been, just because his numbers would have been astronomical for a receiver, he probably would have been more deserving of it. And obviously Lamar came through and blew the roof off the place, so he was deserving of it. But through 12 games, just with the numbers that Purdy was putting up and the somewhat, which were still, McCaffrey's numbers were still great, but they weren't like never seen this before great, like Tyreek Hill's numbers were. So it would have been. I'm saying, just hear what I'm saying.
No,
if you're playing really, if you have great numbers at quarterback and nobody else is doing like transformational stuff at running back, receiver, or any of those other spots, then we will give it to the quarterback. That's what they've shown over the course of the last couple of years.
He didn't have great numbers this year, though. He didn't have great numbers
Over
this
the
year. Nope. Damani,
through 12 games. Through 12 games. Look at his stats through 12 games and tell me he didn't have great stats. Look at his stats through 12 games and tell me he didn't have great stats.
Did I not send you the things where it said basically for the past, I think it was from like 2012 on, if we would have put Brock Purdy's same exact stats and put him in each one of those years, he would have never been in the top 10 quarterbacks for the season.
Who was leading the NFL in pass yards through 12 games? Who was?
That's not what I'm saying, Damani. I'm not saying he wasn't leading the
When
league.
did I make the argument, Byron? When did I make the argument?
Actually, it was after week 12. It was like week 14 and 15.
No. That's when I make. No, when we talked about it on this podcast, I said that I was making the argument for Purdy to win MVP when he had the best numbers in the league, and he did have the best numbers in the league. But when we're talking about the time frame in which it happened, I'm saying if you look at his numbers before they played the Ravens, before they played the Baltimore Ravens, and looked at everybody else's numbers,
but they still weren't good. They still weren't good. Just because he was the best in the league doesn't mean the league had a down year in passing this year, right or wrong.
So if you take his numbers, if you take his numbers through game 11 and extrapolate them over 17 games, how many yards is it?
I still don't think it would have been top 5 in any of those years.
Top 5 in any of what years?
The previous, last 8 to 9 years in the league, passing numbers were way up higher than they were this year.
I want you to bet me $100 that they're not top 5 over the course of those years. I want you to bet me $100.
I don't gamble.
Okay, bet me 100 push-ups, and I want you got to put a video on Instagram of you doing them.
I don't post on Instagram, man.
Okay, you got to send me a video of you doing them, and I'm gonna post it on Instagram.
Sure.
Shake my hand.
That what? Wait, what's the question?
If I take his numbers through week 11 and extrapolate them through 17 games, and he would have been top 5 in passing in any of the highest passing years in NFL history, you have to do 100 push-ups on video, and I'm posting it on Instagram.
I don't know which years it was.
I told you, any year.
So you're saying I can choose the year? Sure. 1 year.
Take my hand.
You're saying 1 year?
Take my hand.
It shook, man.
Okay. And I want my video at 100 push-ups. I do.
Top 5.
Top 5. Any year. So y'all stay tuned. If I will wait until after this gets posted to post the video, because I want people to know exactly where it's coming from.
You wrong, man. I know you.
Okay. Wrong. Okay, that's fine. So we can get on to the next topic if you're done hating. What was the last thing? Oh yeah. Having a significant other with a pet. Do you think pets impact relationships, Brian?
Yep,
do you think that's
100%, man?
Why you say it like that?
It's a child, man. Because
you're saying a pet is a child?
It's like a child, especially if you got a young puppy. Older dogs or older cats, less work. A young one, you working, man.
I see that, but I don't know if I would compare it to a baby, because you can't just put a baby in a cage and just leave it for a little while.
You can. What's the difference? When you go to bed, that's what they do. They just put it in a cage.
No, I'm talking about just leave the house and just have the baby in the cage. You can't do that.
Why not? I'm not saying I would do it. I'm saying what's the
difference? Hey, look, man. Look, I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with you, bro.
If the baby can't move, what's the problem?
I'm not doing this with you, bro.
I feel like it's the same thing. Like you putting a puppy in a cage. I feel like.
Just go ahead. Let's. It's different in that sense.
What's different?
Yeah, it is.
What's different?
The difference between a dog and a baby, or a cat and a baby, or any kind of pet and a baby, you can't put it in a cage and leave it and just go on about your day. You can't do that.
Why?
You have to take time off. Just common sense, Byron, for a bunch of stuff.
See, I don't think you don't have an answer for it. I think it's frowned upon, but I think you do it. People do it all the time when the baby go to bed.
See, your parents
What's the
are
difference?
wonderful people, but if they did that with you, that would explain a lot as
They
to
didn't
why
do that
you
with me,
are the
but
way that you are. I know, that's what I'm saying. I know that they wouldn't do it, but if they did, it would explain a lot about you. I'm still
okay,
trying to get to the bottom of whatever is going on with you, but that would
okay.
explain it.
So explain to me what is the difference between a parent putting the baby to bed, going to their room upstairs, leave the baby down there all night, and a parent going down to the grocery store, come back, they just left the baby in the little cradle the entire time for 45 minutes. What's wrong with that?
You can walk downstairs to address any kind of problem that the baby is having versus having to drive back to your house to address any problem that the baby is having. Those are very, very different things.
What's the difference? So 5 minutes compared to 3 minutes, 2 minutes.
How long does it take you to walk downstairs, man?
You might be on the other side of a home.
Again, I'm Brandon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Brandon. I gotta remember. Sometimes you just be talking, bro. So, in the sense of a relationship, do you think that the other person's pet situation is going to influence whether or not you get into a relationship with them? Hypothetically, of course. Hypothetically.
Get into a relation with them? Probably
Mm-hmm.
not. I say probably not because you can't control whether that person had an animal before. Well, I guess if you really do not like animals, or a dog or a cat, and they have a cat or a dog, and you're like, I really don't want to deal with that. I could see that having an impact, but I would say for most
Mm-hmm.
part, most people understand like, okay, this person they already have their dog. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I'm saying one. I'm saying for you personally, and two, like should you consider that? Not saying it's either me or the dog, but should you consider like when you're weighing the pros and cons as to whether am I going to pursue a relationship with this person? Is the pet on that list somewhere, or is it just like a peripheral thing that you don't even worry about?
I think it's very low. The reason that is
Okay.
because if a person has a pet before you, they are going to like automatically feel more responsible for that pet. Like they will feel like they're going to feel like this pet is 100% mine. I'm paying for everything. I know how to live with this pet in my life. But if
Hmm.
someone gets a pet while y'all are dating, I feel like it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, I can see that. I think I agree. It's probably low on the list. Um, I think it's definitely something that you should consider though, because I think it's one of them things that just like everything like be real cool in the honeymoon phase, and you be like looking over like little stuff. Then like once all that like get over with, you start looking at stuff and be like, I really don't love that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I could see it being one of those things. I could definitely see it being one of those things that just like end up getting you out the door. So I would say you probably have to account for it a little bit more than you're feeling it in the moment. Because if you honeymooning, everything cool, everything good. But
I think it
you
depends on
know,
what your role is with taking care of the pet or animal.
I mean, maybe not. It depends on your role. Depends on how
Because
much
like
you
if you
like
have,
the
I think,
animal, how much the animal impacts like your. Because if the animal is like out of sight, out of mind, then maybe. But like if you don't like the pet, like whatever for whatever reason, I could see it being one of them things. Because you
if you
initially you
have,
could be like, I don't like this cat, this dog, whatever. But it is what it is. But then 3-4 months in, like he or she getting on your nerve, and you'd be like, you know what, I really, really, really dislike this animal, and that might be the thing that gets you out the door. So I don't know.
yeah, I hear that. I saw a Reddit story, but I'm not gonna get into it. That basically this woman went to get her and this man were married. He had already had these cats for years. She got tired of the cats, so she lied and said these cats were doing this wild stuff at night, making noises, causing havoc. And so she was like, I had to get up 6 times. She was saying this every night. So he faked like he went to bed for a night. He stayed up the entire night. Every single 15 minutes, he would type in his notes app, no sounds, no sounds. She didn't get up. She didn't get up. That next morning, yeah, I got up 9 times dealing with those cats. He's like, you're lying. And then they went back and forth. She was like, I can't believe you wouldn't believe me. She tried to gaslight him. And then they ended up divorcing over the cats. So it can't be a deal breaker.
Yeah, man. That's bad business. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not. I can't. I can see how it would get to that point. That's what I'm saying. I think you got to make an accurate account up front of like where you're at with the animal situation. Because if you don't like it, you're eventually going to find like a time where it's just like whatever's weighing you down, that's going to bring you down a little bit further. Or it could be a thing where you just like you love a pet, and it's something that either brings the two of y'all closer together, or it's just like a cool extra, like a garnish on a budding relationship.
A child.
Could go either way.
It's a child, man. It's a child.
It's not a child. It's not a child.
If someone has a dog and you're dating them, you're the step parent, man.
I don't think that that's the case.
It's true.
Jokingly, maybe, but I don't think that that's the case.
If you guys start taking care of the dog, you guys start taking the dog out. Just a whole bunch of you start having more and more responsibility.
That's the other thing. Do you have an obligation to take part in the maintenance of the pet?
If the person has the pet before y'all are dating, no, you have zero obligation. If you are dating a person and they get a pet, I feel like you have some obligation. It's like an implied obligation.
Fair. I think even if you if they have the pet before, just because like you made a decision to be part of said person's life. Mm-hmm. So I think not necessarily an obligation, but I think you should like want to at least
a little bit, yeah.
Not just like totally ignore all responsibilities that come along with the pet. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously that's still the principal caregiver, whichever party was the one that came into the relationship with the pet. But I think that's part of embracing, the whole of the person. I'd be like,
make their life easier. Like, oh, I'll feed your dog, or I'll feed your cat, or
yeah,
I'll take him out so you don't have to do it. You just chill.
Yeah, I think that's.
I feel like you have a little bit more if y'all are dating and the person gets a pet.
Yeah, 100%. Now, the follow up of that, if you're dating somebody and you want to get a pet, does that need to be something that's agreed upon by both parties?
What does the dating look like? I think that also matters. Like, how often are you seeing each other? Is it a long-term relationship? I think all those things matter.
Let's say like medium long-term relationships, like not like engaged, getting married for sure. Like just not just like a casual thing, but like something that's serious, but like not even necessarily fresh. Just something that is just over the threshold of serious.
Wait, what was your question again?
If you are getting a pet and you're dating somebody, does that need to be a decision that is agreed upon by both parties?
It does not need to be agreed upon by both parties, but the other party's like who's not getting the pet, you may want to hear some of what they have to say about it because it may impact the relationship. For like really small things such as um, maybe I don't want to actually like train a dog because training a puppy, that's a lot of work. That's almost like a 10-hour job to where you need to be on top of you, making sure they go out, do all this different type of stuff. Maybe that person don't want to do that. Two, if you are living in separate places, maybe a person don't want a dog in their home, or at least like for extended periods of time. Like it's cool, like dog come over here for an hour, 2 hours, cool. Don't have to worry about that dog for another 6 months or a year. But for then that dog to consistently come over to your place, is that cool? I don't know. I feel like if you're in a serious relationship, what that person say shouldn't make or break your decision, but you should know those things before you get the dog or the cat or the. I guess the lizard not a big deal, but mainly dogs.
Where did the lizard come from?
I was thinking of other animals, snakes. Like if somebody got a snake, that snake never coming over my place.
Even the ones that got the like
Nope.
the harmless ones.
Nope.
Okay, that's fine. And I partially agree. I just think you should want to like agree on it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should be able to have that conversation, and it's an impact thing. You know what I'm saying? An impact. How much time y'all can spend doing stuff that ain't related to the whatever the pet is, the lizard in this case. Um, you just as an individual are gonna have less time. So I mean that's another thing. And yeah, you just kind of indirectly like creating a new situation in a lot of ways for like both parties. So yeah, I think that's got to be like a cohesive decision if it's something like serious.
Okay, my question for you is: say you want a dog, your partner
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want you to have a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like y'all are dating, y'all are in a above serious relationship. Is it still okay to get the dog, in your opinion?
I think it's okay. I wouldn't do it, but I think if there's an agreement that says I don't want this to happen, you do want this to happen, but I have enough like just general care for you to respect your decision and to support you in it in a way that we both agree on. And yeah, I think you gotta do what you think is best at the end of the day. So if I think I need this dog and somebody else doesn't want me to have it, but there's like an agree to disagree thing happening. There's some kind of compromise where they say, all right, you get the dog, but that's your dog. It can't impact my life, my livelihood in any way, shape, or form. And that could be something that happens. But like I said, me personally, I wouldn't. But I could see somebody doing it and it being okay.
Okay, so I have two questions. First question is, which side do you think should relent? The side that wants the dog or the cat or the lizard? Or the side that says the other person shouldn't have it? Which side should compromise? I don't think this is a thing where you can compromise on it. I think it's either you get it or you don't. So which side do you think should relent?
Yeah, I think coming to a compromise can mean, because if it's just a get it or don't situation, I think you can say we get it, but we do this, or we don't get it, but we do this, because like you said, there's no real way to really meet in the middle. But I think getting it and then having like the addendum on the end is still a compromise. And I think in that case, if the person is just, and obviously it depends on how much a party wants it and how much the other person doesn't want them to get it and the reasons and all that. But just saying all things equal, I think the party that wants to get the dog should win out. Um, and the party that like doesn't want it to happen should relent. And it's like I said, it's not really relent. There should be some kind of, not a kickback, but you know what I'm talking about, like some kind of addendum there.
Okay, then my second question is the same thing, but with a child. Which side do you think?
No, if somebody else don't want the baby, just have somebody else's DNA. If the other person does not want the baby, do not have that baby with somebody else that want to have the baby. Not with the party that does not want to have it. That is a totally different. That is 100% the other way.
See, I feel like it would be the reverse.
No.
I'm like,
no.
You don't play about a baby.
They're different. I'm telling you. You can say that like a child until you have. No. And I'm saying that like I have. I don't. But no. That's a different level of seriousness.
Okay. I hear you. Yeah, I hear you, but I don't know.
Well, with that last little forced tidbit, comparing children to dogs, we're gonna go ahead and end this. Leave a comment, leave a like, let us know what you want to see, what you want to hear. We need to let Dre tell his side of his story. We need to get him back on this pod. If he ain't too hopped up on the whatever they got him taking for the Achilles, we really need to get him on here.
Yeah, I agree.
That'd be a good option. Byron, you got anything else for the people?
No, we appreciate y'all. That's really it. We got Show 3 playing us out.
Yes, sir. Peace.
When that pressure get applied, is you gon' pass or you gon' shoot? I stood tall. When you make it through the struggle and the pain, do you get your umbrella off the chance that it might rain? I stood tall. Ooh, I stood tall. Ooh, I stood tall. Ooh, you could try to count me out, but you ain't gon' ever hold me down. When I see my people going through it, I put the blame on me. And I see my homie lose his mind, but I gave him his first taste of lean. I ain't gon' lie, that really hurt me, but I had to close the curtains. And one thing I learned on Lion King is everybody gotta eat. Never tell a party, let me get a whole piece. And nah, little homie, can't get that from me. You play football, you got a bright future, you supposed to see you on the TV. And I said that's true, and I'm gon' do it, but I really gotta make something happen. And I probably could've asked my family for something, but instead I started hitting licks with daddy. I ain't gon' lie, that turned me to a savage. Really living life like a bandit. And then Murph told me, keep your head on, man, don't do nothing reckless. But now I'm older now, I'm a grown man. Go to church every Sunday, I'm a praying man. You ain't gonna never see me fall, I'm always standing. One thing I do is stick to the plan. When you make it through the struggle, you the truth. When that pressure